What is going on, everyone? Martinez TV back with another video, and this time I'm doing a review on Cobra Kai Season 3 Episode 1, and I'm going to be doing all the episodes one by one until we get to the very last one. And I'm basically doing a recap and a review, letting you guys know at the end of the episode whether it was good or whether it wasn't. And we're going to have some spoilers in here because I'm recapping the whole episode. So if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you go watch it first and then come back and check me out. Anyways, we're jumping right ahead into it. So let's go ahead and start with how the episode begins. So it starts off by the news media is covering the story of the riot that happened at the high school. So this is 2 weeks later. He's talking about Miguel being in the hospital. He's in a coma. They also bring up Robbie. He got expelled for the fight. He's on the run. Cops are looking for him. He's not able to be located at this point. It's also talking about Sam being suspended for 2 weeks. And the other girl, she gets expelled just as well as Robbie did. So after the news, it goes right ahead and moves on to Johnny, who starts, the scene starts with him being at the bar, and he's drinking and he's getting drunk, and the bartender says something about him being there for 4 hours already, drinking and getting really drunk. I take it he's drinking because of, he feels guilty for what's going on with Miguel and his son, Robbie, so he's basically there and he doesn't want to leave. So the girl bartender tells a male bartender that she's already tried to get him out and he doesn't want to go. So she tells him that he should take care of it. So he does, and he goes to approach Johnny and tells Johnny he needs to leave. And so Johnny is like, yeah, whatever, But then the news comes on, and it's actually about Miguel being in the coma and being in the hospital. And right away Johnny, it catches his attention, and he's like, he starts getting into his feelings again. And out of nowhere, two Mexican guys change the channel while he's watching the news, and they put it on, I believe it was the LA Dodgers game. And I don't know how they got the remote, but apparently they got the remote from the bartender or something. They changed the channel while Johnny's watching the news, and Johnny's like, oh, well, please, put that back. I was watching that. And, these guys are obviously being dicks, and they're like, nah, we're going to watch the game. No, they say nobody cares about no kid in a coma, which pisses him off. And then I guess the Dodgers make a score or something like that, and they're like, woo, woo, cheering the Dodgers on. And then they hand Johnny the remote, and they're like, we're out of here. So the two Mexican guys take off, and they end up showing them, the next scene shows them inside their car, and they're talking about what to do next. And Johnny ends up breaking the window. He breaks the window with his fist and grabs the Mexican dude, who said something bad about Miguel, and pulls him out through the window, which he broke with his fist. And then a fight scene starts. Johnny, he knocks down the Mexican dude in the driver's seat, and then the passenger, the other guy, he ends up coming around, and he's like, yo, what's your problem, dude? This and that. And Johnny's just like, I'm going to kick your guys' asses. That's what's going on. And anyways, Johnny ends up getting knocked out because he's too drunk to fight. And he gets knocked out by that guy. And the guy who was on the driver's seat tells the guy in the passenger seat to call the cops. And so, Johnny gets knocked out, and, he wakes up in jail. So he goes to jail from there. And Also, what's going on after Johnny goes to jail is that Daniel and his wife go to a PTA meeting at the school in the auditorium, and the wife is upset because their daughter got suspended for 2 weeks, and she doesn't agree with it and she dislikes it totally. So they end up going to this meeting where they're confronted by a lot of angry parents, and these parents are blaming LaRusso and saying that it's because of Miyagi-Do and the karate he teaches, that these students are getting hurt, and obviously Daniel and his wife are like, no, it's not because of that, and they're going back and forth. Daniel's like, well, when I was a kid, I used to get picked on here, and karate helped me, but they're like, no, it's your daughter who was hooking up with that dude's girl. I mean, was hooking up with Miguel. I'm sorry. So they're going back and forth. It's a fight. And then after that, basically what happens is it moves back to Johnny, who is told by the cop inside jail. The cop in jail tells him that Miguel might not make it. That most people that have been in a coma for 2 weeks usually don't make it. So Johnny that freaks him out, and he's all worried now and stuff. So then it moves on to Hawk and his little group, the Cobra Kais. It shows them going back to school, and they end up running into Miyagi-Do, which is Dimitri and his gang. And excuse me. And they end up getting into a little argument, and they go back and forth, and Hawk is still upset because basically he got his ass kicked by Dimitri. So Hawk's trying to threaten Dimitri, but Dimitri's not having it no more. So he's like tough now. He ain't no little pussy no more, basically. After that, it shows Sam trying to go back to school as well. There's a lot of security now, by the way. Security stopping the students at the front, checking their bags, and they have metal detectors, the whole shebang, because the riot was so serious that they had to get security at a high school. But hey, show Sam, she's walks in, she gets checked, her bags get checked. She's getting there's other student females talking shit about her, and she notices it, and they're all laughing and giggling under their breath, and she's looking around, and all the females are doing this. So she decides that she's gonna freaking leave and not deal with the school. So she takes off, and after that, it goes to Daniel going to the car dealership, or Daniel at the LaRusso dealership, and I guess they bring back Louis, who is a character that got fired from the company. I believe he's Daniel's cousin or something like that. He's part of the LaRusso family, but they fired him because in the last episode, he got those biker dudes. They basically, freaking. He went over there with those biker guys, and they had Johnny. I believe it was Johnny. They burned his car, broke his car, or something like that. They attacked Johnny's car, and he tried to say, here, let me get up. He tried to say that it was Daniel who sent him, which was a complete lie. It was not Daniel who sent him. So anyways, he's back. And on the side note, they actually got rid of Aisha, which I don't know why she's not in the third season. I read about it, so she won't be in the third season. But they did bring back that blonde girl from the first season, the one that supposedly went to Paris. So I kind of found that kind of funny that they would leave Aisha out of the season, but keep that blonde girl, bring her back, which makes no sense. But because I thought she did a phenomenal job with in season 1 and season 2. But so Daniel, he's at the dealership. They're not really selling cars anymore because now their reputation is not good because of what's going on with the students. With Miguel being in the hospital and Daniel's student, which is Robbie, doing it, and they think he's a criminal. So the LaRusso dealership isn't doing good because it's got a bad reputation now. And what happens is Louis tells Daniel and his wife that he did the inventory on the cars and one of the cars is missing. So they end up, I guess, thinking about it or guessing, and the LaRussos figure it out that Robbie must have took the car because he has the password to all the gates and such. So Daniel tells Louis that he has a GPS on all the used cars in the lot. So they end up locating the GPS and he tracks it on his phone, and Daniel drives out and follows the GPS where it's at. And he ends up locating it, but only the GPS, because I guess Robbie remembered that all the cars are they have GPS, so he must have took the GPS out and just thrown it out, and that's where Daniel ends up. So he calls his wife, and his wife tells him, have you found him yet? And he says no. So she tells him, is there any place where you think he'd be? And he says, yeah, there's probably one place. So they end up going, or he ends up going to the Miyagi dojo, and he ends up running into his daughter there. So that's where Sam ends up going. She makes a quick stop to In-N-Out. Shout out to In-N-Out. And she makes a stop at In-N-Out, and then she goes to the Miyagi dojo. And they both meet each other there. Robbie's not there, but Sam talks to her dad, and they have they exchange words, but good ones. It's a good little sentimental scene. They hug and talk, and then after that it moves to Johnny. He's out of jail and he's dropped off. This is the part that confuses me. He's dropped off by somebody, I don't know who, but they tell him that he better not miss his court date. And that confused me because I don't know who the person is. Is that his probation officer? Who is that? So he drops off Johnny at the hospital, and Johnny tries to go see Miguel in the hospital because he's worried. He's worried because what the cop told him in jail and stuff. So they won't let him in to see Miguel because he's not a doctor or he's not family. So he freaking tries to steal a coat. He steals like a doctor's coat, but ends up going in the restroom and puts it on and starts talking to himself. And he ends up getting recognized by somebody that was taking a crap. Somebody comes out of the toilet and they recognize him. So he ends up throwing the coat away and actually bangs his head on the toilet paper holder, which is made out of metal, and he starts bleeding. So he goes back to the front desk and tells him that he needs to see a nurse. So he gets to the back and their nurses check him out and they find all these bruises on him and such, and they end up, they're like, oh, well, yeah, you need to, stay here and we need to have you checked out. So they end up taking off, and he actually sneaks out and goes and sees Miguel. And there's like flashbacks of Miguel at the second tournament where he's fighting for his title against another opponent. And, he's talking to Miguel and telling Miguel, everything's going to be okay. Like, you're going to pull out of this and such. And then the nurse walks in on him and actually tells him to leave, because it's only family. So he gets spotted, and Johnny ends up leaving. And while this is going on, it moves to Daniel. Daniel ends up going to Cobra Kai, the dojo, and he ends up seeing the sensei. He sees the sensei there, and the sensei confronts him and tells him, he's sorry for, his student, which is Robbie, Daniel's student. He's sorry that, that shit's happening to him. It's too bad. And, he's kind of making fun of him in a way. And, he starts talking crap about Miyagi. And Daniel, he starts getting a little pissed off. But he's like, nah, you're not worth it. I'm not going to fight you. I was taught better. So he tells him, if you got some beef or you got some problems, come back to the dojo because you know where I'm at. So the sensei's not backing down, but neither is Daniel. So that was a cool little scene right there where I thought they were gonna fight. I thought they were gonna get down, and that was gonna be a really cool scene, but nothing happened. Daniel ends up leaving, and he's there because he's looking for Johnny. He wants to speak to Johnny. That's why he shows up to the Cobra Kai dojo. He doesn't know at the end of season 2 that Johnny gave the sensei gave his sensei Cobra Kai. He doesn't know that, so he shows up to Cobra Kai thinking Johnny's gonna be there, but Johnny's not there. So they have their words, and then it cuts to the next scene where Daniel's waiting for Johnny at his apartment complex, and Johnny finally shows up, and Daniel tells him, he's been looking for Robbie on his own, and he's pretty close to finding him, but he actually asked Johnny for his help. He's like, I think that you would be a good help, so why don't we team up and find them together, because me and you started this a long time ago, so teaming up is the best thing so we can end all this drama. So he agrees. Johnny agrees. So now they're teaming up and they're gonna go find Robbie. So the episode ends by, it then shows flashbacks of that karate tournament where Miguel is defending his title against another opponent. But then it also shows a scene where Robbie's actually homeless and he's counting change. So, he's probably broke. He probably, he's on the run. So he's homeless. He's around a bunch of homeless people. And then it cuts to the tournament where I guess Miguel ends up beating this kid. I don't know who this kid is, but he ends up beating his opponent, and he keeps his title. And at this time, Miguel wakes up, and that's where it ends. And I that was sick. I had a feeling he was gonna wake up, but the way it happened, the way he woke up with he wins the tournament. Which, when did that tournament occur? That got me kind of lost. Like, how much longer after the first tournament in season 1, where they fight Miyagi-Do? Robbie's the only fighter, and they beat Robbie in the first season. So when did this second tournament happen? It's got me confused. But anyway, that's how it ends. Miguel wakes up, and so now season 2 is episode 2 is gonna start after he wakes up. And my quick little review on this first episode 1, Aftermath, is I really liked it. I like how it went from 2 weeks later. So it was a good introduction to the third season. I thought they did a really good job on bringing back a lot of the characters. A lot of the characters from the first season. I just don't like that they didn't bring back Aisha in the third season, and I don't know why, which I think she's because she's black. But hey, what do I know? Anyways, if you guys seen this episode, and if you think I did a good job on the recap and my review, please give me a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe. And like I said, I'll be doing all the episodes, and I'll try to make these videos a little shorter because they're going to be kind of long, but try not to forget anything on the episodes. Let me know if I should do something else or anything in the comment section below. I'll see you in episode 2.